Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
Crews respond to an early morning fire. Details about the building where the flames broke out. As the opioid epidemic continues, local advocates are educating the community. The event that aims to help people heal together. And a State Line community celebrates Pride Month. Why organizers say it's important to spread love. Good evening, I'm Taylor Castro. Thanks for joining us tonight. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a vacant building to go up in flames. Crews were called to Buckbee Street in Rockford just before 6 a.m. Saturday morning. The building was already vacant. No one was hurt. Damage is estimated at $5,000. The state of Illinois was among the victims of a global ransomware attack by a Russian cyber gang last month. The FBI says the state was hacked through a file transfer system used by state agencies and large corporations. The group said victims had until June 14th to pay up or risk having sensitive stolen data dumped online. Officials say the attack on Illinois' computer systems was contained within 3 hours, but the state is still working to determine the extent of the intrusion. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul announces final approval of a multi-billion-dollar nationwide settlement stemming from the opioid epidemic. The $17.3 billion deal is the result of a bipartisan settlement with drug makers Teva and Allergan, as well as CVS and Walgreens pharmacies. Illinois will receive $518 million over 15 years. Raoul says the money will be used to help fund services needed to combat opioid addiction. Meanwhile, advocates from across the state line worked to make a difference this morning. It was for the Overdose Awareness Walk at the Y Lodge in Rockford. Organizations and groups had resources and information for anyone who may need it, whether it's for yourself, a friend, or a family member. There were trainings on how to use Narcan during an overdose. The founder of one local group that fights addiction says the community aspect of these events is important.
Understanding that, wow, we're not the only ones that are dealing with these kinds of things, and wow, it's really hard. And jeepers, we can't talk to the average person because people just don't understand unless you're living it. And so it's important that we all bind together and help each other heal.
This was the 9th annual Overdose Awareness Walk. Community health agencies offer free information and services for the Midtown District. Over 30 organizations participated in the first ever Fun and Health Fair at Patriots Gateway Community Center. The participating agencies represented a variety of different needs. The Rockford Fire Department and UW Health mobile vans were there as well.
We just asked all the vendors to make their tables and their information as interactive as possible so that it would be fun to learn something new. And your health and your bodies are such incredible gifts that we have to protect to stay healthy and use them for a really long time.
There were raffles, free snacks, fresh produce, and games and activities for kids. June is Pride Month, and to celebrate, Freeport put on a Pride picnic. Our Nicole Delgado was at the celebration, and Nicole, they went all out this year.
That's right, Taylor. And you know, it's been 3 years since St. John UCC hosted the first Freeport Pride picnic, and they tell me this year it's bigger and better.
It makes me feel like I'm accepted, not only by the community, but by those everybody around.
St. John United Church of Christ hosted the Freeport Pride Picnic Saturday. Church member Sean Killingback tells me he was part of the event in 2019 and is excited to have it back.
Excited about it. I'm loving it. I couldn't wait to get this to going again. It just brings a lot of peace and hope to how I feel. I love all the support. That's all I can really say is all the support is just wonderful.
The picnic involved hamburgers, hot dogs, snow cones, games, raffling off prizes, and local LGBTQ-friendly organizations.
I think Pride is first and foremost a celebration, so we are celebrating that we get to be who we are, the freedom that we have, and anyone who wants to help us in affirming that freedom.
Pastor Rachel Kirk says she is glad to see so many people coming together in unity and celebration.
There are a lot of organizations within Freeport and Stevenson County that do support LGBTQ people. There are lots of people who want to support LGBTQ people and celebrate us together. And I think it's important to be visible and be a voice of love instead of a voice of hate like the ones we so often hear.
Sean hopes to expand the Pride Picnic to Rockford too.
Hoping that if we do it again next year, it'll be even bigger. If it's as popular as I'm hoping it will be, hopefully we'll do another one next year. So I'm real excited about this one.
Organizers hope to make this an annual event. Taylor?
Thanks, Nicole. One of the Rockford Park District's busiest pools is officially open for the summer. Sand Park Pool in Loves Park kicked off the 2023 season this afternoon. The YMCA stopped by with games, a DJ, a bounce house, and other fun activities. The pool itself ranges in depth from 3 to 12 feet. There are 2 slides and a diving board in the main pool, as well as a toddler pool for little ones. Opening day was so busy that it nearly reached capacity.
Sand Park's one of our busiest pools, if not our yearly busiest pool. I know for a couple of years it was closed just because of any maintenance, and we had to do some renovations around the field and the pool itself. And we reopened back in 2021, and we have seen nothing but great business since then.
Starting Wednesday, the pool will be open daily from 1 to 6 through August 20th. The former president is in Georgia and North Carolina after a federal indictment. Coming up, what Donald Trump has to say in his first public appearances.
Our temperatures made their way into the 80s today, but some big changes on the way as we get into the day tomorrow, only reaching the upper 60s. A lot of rain showers through the overnight as well. I'll let you know when those move out and how much rain we could see from that coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Taylor Castro, Reagan Holgate, and meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Ted Kaczynski, or better known as the Unabomber, died today in federal prison. He was sentenced to 4 life sentences plus 30 years in 1998 for a 17-year bombing spree that killed 3 people and injured 23 others. Kaczynski grew up in Chicago and studied mathematics at Harvard. He was labeled the Unabomber for targeting universities and airlines. He was found unresponsive in his cell early this morning. He was 81 years old. Donald Trump makes his first public appearances since his federal indictment in Georgia and North Carolina. The 37-count indictment was unsealed on Friday. Here's Phil Lipoff with the latest on the investigation and what the former president has to say about it.
Former President Trump making his first public appearances since the federal indictment against him was unsealed, speaking to supporters in Georgia and North Carolina.
We stand up to the open borders fanatics, the radical left Democrats, their lawless partisan prosecutors, the prosecutors. Every time I fly over a blue state, I get a subpoena.
Following a 7-month investigation, Trump charged with 37 counts ranging from willful retention of documents to conspiracy and obstruction.
I invite everyone to read it in full, to understand the scope and the gravity of the crimes charged.
The indictment describes how the president allegedly personally oversaw the removal of some of the nation's most sensitive information from the White House after he left office, including information about nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the U.S. and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. Also included in the documents, according to the indictment, information about spies, informants, and classified surveillance programs. Documents allegedly packed into boxes and stored at his private club at Mar-a-Lago. And in a photo allegedly taken by one of Trump's closest aides, there appears to be a redacted classified document spilling out onto the floor.
The images in that document. That is what stood out to him. And then learning those were images provided by his most loyal aide, Walt Nauta, who is also part of this indictment.
Prosecutors say after leaving office, Trump showed military documents to people without security clearance on 2 occasions, including a recording in which Trump allegedly shows a document prepared by the Pentagon that outlined a possible plan of attack on Iran. Prosecutors accused Trump of obstruction, claiming he told attorneys to lie when a subpoena called on him to return the documents. Investigators say he also told one attorney to, quote, hide or destroy documents. The former president has always maintained that he did nothing wrong, that he declassified the documents.
That was Phil Lipoff reporting. Officials in Quebec say firefighters are making progress in the fight against wildfires raging across eastern Canada. Conditions are expected to improve in the days ahead, and rain is forecast for Monday. There are more than 400 active fires in Canada. Hundreds of firefighters from the U.S., France, Spain, and Portugal are in Quebec, supporting Canadian crews. More than 13,000 people have been evacuated because of conditions. The fires have cast a hazardous haze across the northeast part of Canada and the U.S. So far, no reports of fire-related injuries or deaths. Another warm day with highs in the 80s, but some much-needed rain may be on the way. Jordan tells us how much precipitation we could see in the full forecast next.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
It was another warm day across the state line. We saw a lot of sunshine, at least to start out the day, but clouds have been rolling their way in as we got later on into the afternoon and now even into the evening. Before some of those clouds, we did see many temperatures make their way into the 80s, including into the mid-80s in some spots, 84 in Rochelle and 84 in Janesville, only 82 in Rockford for their high temperature. Throughout the rest of the afternoon and the evening, those clouds have helped to keep our temperatures a little bit on the lower side. We're down to 79 now in Rockford and in Freeport, still holding on to the 80s though in Savannah, Sterling, and in Rochelle. Janesville still at 81 degrees as well. Those temperatures are a little bit on the lower side because of that cloud cover that's been working its way in. Checking in with our weather watcher Jim on the southwest side of Rockford, also reporting a temperature of 79 degrees, a dew point only at about 44 degrees. Still a little bit on the lower side, which is allowing not quite as much of this rain that's been looking like it's trying to work its way in on satellite and radar, not quite reaching the surface in many spots. However, we do have a lot more of those rain chances further off to the west that will be gradually working their way closer to the area over the next few hours. We still see satellite and radar showing up with just a few spots of those rain showers, at least trying to work their way in close to the Illinois and Wisconsin border. But again, higher coverage as we get later on into the night tonight and going into the early part of tomorrow morning. At the moment, we are still seeing some fairly overcast skies in Beloit. Our SkyTrack camera up there is brought to us by Mercy Health. We see some of those overcast skies really showing up across the board. However, we're not really necessarily seeing any of that rain reaching the ground quite yet. That does get to a bit of a different story as we get into the day tomorrow and into the night tonight. Temperatures only reaching down to 57, but rain showers working their way in, especially as we get closer to the midnight hour. Those rain showers do last at least into the very beginning of tomorrow, but as we get into the afternoon, things do clear out. We actually get a lot of sunshine once we get into the afternoon. However, even though the rain has worked its way out, our high temperatures only reach their way back up into the upper 60s. Futurecast continues to show those increasing coverage of the rain showers as we get into the night tonight and going into the day tomorrow. Once things clear out for the afternoon, however, we actually see some of that sunshine. Temperatures, though, remaining a little bit on the lower side. As far as total rain is concerned, we're not really looking at a whole lot, with much of the higher totals going to remain a little bit further off to the south, but many spots across the state line could pick up around a quarter of an inch or so of rainfall for the early part of the day tomorrow and as we get into the afternoon. The highest coverage going to remain much further south because that's where the track of that low pressure system that's impacting us is going to go. That track going to remain further south, and that's where those higher rain totals are going to remain as well. However, we do get more rain chances as we get into the early part of next week. This low pressure going to continue spinning across and actually bringing us a couple of chances for some slight rain showers as we get into the day on Monday and possibly even going into Tuesday as well. However, as we get beyond that, things do look a little bit on the warmer side after we get into the middle of the week. So we are still seeing a couple of cool days with highs in the upper 60s and low 70s, returning back to 80 by Tuesday, and then into the mid 80s with a lot more sunshine for the middle and end of the week.
Thanks, Jordan. Scott's in next with sports. Some Minnesota Vikings invaded Auburn's Wyeth Stadium today, led by a former Auburn Knight who's now wearing Vikings purple.
Now sports with sports director Scott Leber.
Now that the school year has wound down, it's camp season for young athletes in our community. A new camp was held today at Auburn High School, this one run by an NFL player, Auburn alum and Minnesota Vikings tackle Vidarian Lowe. Lowe has the weekend off between his own camp sessions in Minnesota with the Vikings. What better way to spend the weekend than by reaching out to youngsters in his hometown?
How you doing? What's up, man? This has been something that me and my grandfather have talked about for years. I feel like this time is right now. I feel like I've established myself a little bit. I feel like I've been put in a position, kids look up to pro athletes, and this is what it's all about.
Everybody goes on the whistle.
Boys and girls between the ages of 7 and 11 were put through a series of agility drills.
Keep your feet moving, keep your feet moving, keep your feet moving. Just get out your way, get out your way. There you go, hit it hard, hit it hard, hit it hard, hit it hard.
Sports is for everybody. They're there for everybody, boys and girls. Football is a game where you just come out, run, stretch your legs, show your agility, show your speed.
On 3, we say Vidarian Low, all right? Okay? 1, 2, 3. All right, go to your next station, guys.
Lowe wasn't the only Minnesota Viking at Auburn. He brought 3 of his teammates with him, fellow offensive linemen Ed Ingram and Josh Sokol, and tight end Nick Muse. Lowe was great about interacting with the kids, throwing some passes. He showed them how NFL linemen develop their strength and endurance by doing the rope drill. Then it was the kids' turn.
There you go. I know you get tired. Come on, keep pushing, keep pushing. Keep pushing through.
He even took time out for a friendly competition of rock, paper, scissors. Next came a group photo.
Say cheese. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, hold that.
All the campers received T-shirts, and at the end, they got autographs from a real NFL player.
So this is something you would like to do every year, perhaps?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I'm already ready for next year.
I'm sure those kids are too. They had a great time. Well, the White Sox were trying to stay on the rise this afternoon. They hosted the Marlins again. Andrew Vaughn did his job in the 4th inning. He swats a solo home run, his 8th this season, and the Sox led 1-0. Vaughn got the celebration suit at the dugout. But the Marlins were the ones celebrating at the end of the day. They broke up a 1-1 game in the top of the 9th by scoring 5 times. Gene Segura nailing Garrett Crochet's pitch to the wall. 2 runners scored. The Marlins defeated the White Sox 5-1. Now the Cubs are just about ready to play ball against the Giants. You can see that game on Fox 39 at the bottom of the hour. Sycamore's baseball season ended on a winning note. The Spartans won the Class 3A third-place game at the state tournament. They defeated Effingham in 9 innings, 2-1. Poland tennis star Iga Swiatek has her 3rd French Open championship. Number 3 came today when she won a 3-set match in the finals over Karolina Mukova. It's Swiatek's 4th Grand Slam title overall. That's sports. We'll be right back.
We've had a beautiful past few days, enjoyed the sunshine, but I think we're in need of some rain.
We definitely in need of some rain, with a lot of us across the state line having received very little rain, if any, really for about a month or so. We do have some on the way, and already some trying to work its way in. On the first one, interactive radar from Rockford Auto Glass and more, but these are very scattered rain showers, increasing in coverage once we get later on here into the night tonight, toward the midnight hour, and then into the early part of tomorrow morning before we eventually see those rain showers pull their way out. However, we're not going to see a whole lot of rain, maybe around 1/4 of an inch or so for the most of us across the state line. Temperatures returning back into the 70s once we get into Monday. Another rain chance once we get into the evening. A couple more rain chances, but temperatures in the 80s through the end of the next week.
Thanks, Jordan. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you at 10.